Hello students, welcome to Laboratory B4. This is a continuation of series parallel circuit, doing the analysis of it. This begins on page 48. If we look at that lab, here's the components we're looking for in the lab configuration. As you can see here, these are the resistors we've been using that are common among the labs we're using. We're going to build this circuit, this series parallel circuit. And what I've done here is I've got one of those circuits here. And the circuit that we build is, one way to do that is just to build the circuit the way it looks on the schematic. If you can do that, usually that will suffice for what we need to have done. We're going to take a look here, and this is what I've done this looks like the schematic, okay? So I've got R1 up here, and then R2, and R5 down here by itself, and then resistor 3 and 4 are in series with each other, but they're in parallel with R2. So you're going to build this circuit. So once you build the circuit like this, you're going to measure, you're measuring your individual resistors before you put them in. Then you build your circuit like this, measure your total resistance without the power supply. Then you apply your power supply. And then after you apply your power supply, you're going to measure your voltage drops on each one of these individual resistors. So the voltage of R1, R2, 3, 4, and 5. So you're going to record those readings that you get on your circuit. And then we're going to measure the total resistance. I'll disconnect my power supply at one end and insert my meter in series. That will measure my IT. And then I will calculate individual branch currents or individual resistor currents by taking the voltage across that resistor divided by the value of the resistor will give me each of the current going through that information. We're going to do a couple of things here. Let's take a look if we can. So we're building this circuit over here on the left, and then simply just go through there and read the information line by line so you can see exactly what we're doing. We're going to build a circuit after we've measured the resistors, and then after we built our circuit, we're going to measure total resistance. We're going to set our power supply for 6.5 volts. Then we measure the voltage total and each of the individual voltage drops here for those 5 resistors. We're going to measure IT. And then once you figure out IT, we're going to use a linear extraction to do the calculations of the individual currents. Okay, so we're using the linear extraction that you've learned from watching videos and doing homework. We're going to use that technique in order to do the calculations. So I hope this helps. There's some thought-provoking questions on this lab, so make sure you take a look at those, attempt those, and then check with your instructor to find out what those answers are and make sure you have a good understanding of series parallel circuits, the analysis thereof, and then what happens when we simulate shorts and opens. How does that affect the circuit? Until then, we'll see you in lab.